I don't have a name. I don't even have a number, but I'm one of the many. There are thousands of us, and all of us are put to work. All day long we're carrying, digging, building, and, of course, fighting. We fight for resources, we fight for land, we fight for our queen. But most of all, we fight for the greater hand, that one entity that shapes our world. They were here first, the Red Army, our enemies. At least we think so. Many of us were born here, and the population has increased dramatically, but the few elders say that the Reds were already living here when they came with the Queen. The Queen tells us that she was placed here, moved here from her last home by the Great One. So the mainstream interpretation is it must have been his intention that we occupy this land. That's the general battle cry. He gave this land to us. He favors us over the Reds. I don't know if I believe that, but there are many, many that do. There are so many that insist there is something watching over us. I tend to just focus on my work. Day after day, we do the Queen's bidding. Sometimes she bids us to gather. Other times, she bids us to attack. When she sends us across the dividing line into the Reds' territory, we go, no questions asked. Our weapons slice through them. My personal weapons have killed on more than one occasion. Let me tell you, there's no honor in it. No sense of fair play. If we outnumber a Red soldier 10-1, we give him no quarter. We rush him, ripping him apart. No talking, no diplomacy, no mercy. If one of them comes over to our side of the map, he isn't going back over. That's just the way it is. I don't like it, living like this. I'd be happy to live almost anywhere, but for some reason we're trapped here. I'm not so sure if it's the greater hand or the Queen, but no one does anything about it. So many of us are overcome with blind patriotism despite the fact that we're forced to live in war. It's the belief of our people that the Reds are just the enemy, but we're the intruders here. They might be just as violent as us, some say they're even worse, but they had this land first, and it's not our place to take it. That's why we have to kill the Queen. I put together a coup she would never expect. We might be in the minority, but there are plenty of unhappy soldiers. It was hard to break her spell over some. Others came willingly into our ranks. It isn't that hard to get to her. We have the uniforms, and we know the tunnels of her underground bunker. She hasn't flown anywhere in a long time, convinced herself that this is where she needs to be, and all of her time is spent producing more workers and soldiers. We march down there, dozens of us, without suspicion. We walk into her chamber without hesitation or obstacle, and there she is, as expected, being pampered by her black uniformed wingmen. We swarm them first, eliminating all chance of reprisal. We never liked them anyway. Once they lay all over the chamber floor in pieces, we turn our sights to her. Our weapons pierce her fat flesh, her massive body tries to fight us off, but it's no use. We outnumber her, and as I said, there's no honor. Victory is at hand, the end of the war before us. Without warning, the ground shakes, and a loud noise makes the bunker tremble. We feel the vibration before the ground above us caves in, burst through by a tremendous force of power, an unstoppable force. The greater hand scoops us all up. We should have known. He needs her to play his games. She really is ordained. He brought her here. Maybe he even brought the Red Queen, too. Both of them matter, but none of us do. We're just pawns in a game we don't understand. He plucks me away from her, my pincers piercing a piece of her flesh with me. My only satisfaction is I feel the weight of his fingers. I know the war will continue, as my body folds under the pressure of the greater hand.